At Grand Island Motor Company, we make car buying easy with honest and upfront pricing. That's our philosophy. That's how we take care of our customers. Discover our large selection of new Chevy, GMC, Hyundai, and Cadillac models, along with a great selection of pre-owned, all with one low price. Plain and simple, always. No stressful negotiation needed, because who needs that? Grand Island Motor Company. A new company, a new philosophy.
Hi folks, it's Spencer Thomas with the Grand Island Independent, and I'm here at Aurora High School with this week's Athlete of the Week. It's quarterback Wyatt Pollet. Congrats.
Thank you.
So last week in your round one win in the playoffs for Central City, 23 carries, 212 yards and a touchdown. You also threw for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this is a Central City team that nobody had beat before you guys did the last 2 weeks. What do you feel like worked so well to have all this success against them? What did you do that nobody else had figured out?
I mean, we ran the ball really well against them, and then, first game we played them, it was raining, hard to throw the ball then, so we just kind of ran the ball a lot that game. First drive of the game was 19 plays, 11 minutes, so, that was a pretty good drive, and we just ran the ball really well against them, which just set up the pass game in the second game and just opened a lot of things up for us there.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the more impressive things about 142 yards, 3 touchdowns in the air is that you only attempted to throw the ball 6 times, 5 completions. How nice is that run game to just sort of draw the secondary in, and then maybe once their eyes are locked on you, you're able to go look deep for the end zone?
Oh yeah, it's very nice, and especially when you have an offensive line that blocks as well as ours does in the pass game. I mean, it's really nice being able to run the ball against teams, and then when we went to throw the ball, play action, their safeties just collapsed down, and we had guys wide open over the top.
And the thing with you and your run game, as I've seen, is you take those draws, you come around the outside and just put your head down and love to run into people. I mean, Coach Peterson always says that you're a violent runner. Has that always been part of your game, just not afraid to run into some contact?
Yeah, I actually used to be a running back when I was younger, and I've just always kind of had that angry running mentality where I just like to run through people. Not the shiftiest person, so just like to run through people.
You got a few other guys, aren't necessarily the biggest guys on your offense, but are still just outstanding runners. I mean, Ian Jensen, running back, went over 200 yards your first time against Central City, and then Cannon Allen, you'll use him whichever way you can, whether that's through the air or out of the backfield.
Oh yeah, those guys are great. They really open up the game a lot more for me. It keeps defenses guessing on our read option plays, where if Ian's going to get the ball or if I'm going to get the ball, it just really keeps teams guessing. And then Cannon's a threat anywhere he is. He's a threat on offense. He's a threat on defense. I mean, he's just a threat anywhere.
And these 2 wins have been part of a season-long turnaround for you guys after, you started 0-3, but it's against 3 really difficult opponents. How are you guys able to keep your confidence even after a shaky start to the year to win what's now 7 games in a row?
After those first 3 games, Coach Peterson just told us, it's a new season. That was our preseason. We're starting a new season. We're going to go 1-0 this week and just go 1-0 each week, and that's been our goal, and that's still our goal now. Getting into the postseason, we started another new season, and our goal is just to go 1-0 every week.
What are some of the discussions you have with coaches leading up to the week about, whether it's a week like last week where you run the ball 23 times, or maybe there are games earlier in the season where you're throwing it nearly 20. What keeps you prepared, whether you're called upon on the ground or with your arm?
Oh, I just talk to the coaches about, what reads are going to get open in certain times, going through a pass progression, they're always there to help me with, what's the pass progression going through here, and then, they make it pretty easy on me. They give me my run game, and my run game, our holes are they open up huge, especially when you have Jaden Smith kick out blocking. That it really just opens up, anywhere.
Lastly for you, you transferred in here this year. You were playing 8-man ball before this. I'm curious talk about that transition and maybe some parts of your game that come from being on that field versus and then moving to 11.
Yeah, I would say the run game comes a lot from 8-man because, 8-man is just kind of a track race. Not as long of a field, not as wide as a field. It's a lot of run game too. But on our 8-man team last year, we did throw the ball quite a bit, and so I was able to, progress my passing game last year too. It's been a little bit of a switch having the 3 extra guys out there on defense to read and going through zone reads and stuff like that. It's been a little bit of a switch. Not too major, not as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, and it hasn't been too bad, but it's been a switch.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That's Wyatt Pollet. Aurora's going to head up to Columbus Lakeview on Friday for their state quarterfinal game.